Today's podcast isn't sponsored by anyone, because apparently I have a bad attitude. Me, a bad attitude. I'll tell you who has a bad attitude. All of you. But that won't be a problem after I complete my plan for worldwide domination. Now, where did I put my to-do list?
Hello, and welcome to Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG talk, the first episode of 2019.
Woohoo!
I, as always, am Morrus, aka Russ, or Russ, aka Morrus. I have Ebola, so I apologise for my voice throughout this episode. I'm going to be coughing constantly, so I'm assuming that Daryl, our sound editor, might be able to edit around that. If he can't, I'm really sorry. And with me, as always, is my sizzling yet sensational co-host,
Peter Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Role Players. Hello, everybody. We've missed you.
So, shall we get on with the show?
Yes, let's.
Okay then. Well, what has caught your eye?
Well, the robot dance party game, 25% of the time, they work every time.
What on earth are you talking about?
It's a one-page RPG which has a bunch of robots and it uses a D4 as the randomisation mechanic.
Oh, is that from Grant Howitt?
I don't think it is, actually. It's Yuri's Dice.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure it's not Grant. It's like a similar sort of concept, though. Check out Yuri's Dice on... No, I don't actually know the name of the person, but I saw it. I thought it looked really cool. I don't know, it's some guy grabbing a big old D20. Didn't look like them. It's not on their website, but yeah. You have robots that will offer you canapes, drinks, entertainment, security, and will occasionally have a complete malfunction. 25% of the time they work every time. There's no malfunction. Electric Sheep on roll of 3, I'll be back on roll of 2, and Daisy perform a short song to the nearest human.
Yeah, I couldn't make out a word of that, but it sounded good.
Well, I thought it sounded absolutely amazing. And it's a New Year's bash hosted by robots. What could go wrong? What caught your eye, Russ?
What caught my eye was a flowchart you can use to choose your D&D class.
I'm listening.
So it was originally posted...
That's a big flowchart.
It's originally posted on Reddit, and I put it on my site as well.
Nice.
So this big flowchart, which is this quick and easy to follow guide for choosing your class in 5e. So you start at the centre, and you just answer questions, and it takes you throughout this entire flowchart, and you end up at some class or other.
I'm more on the level of flowchart where it's like, do you like to kill them with your bare hands, like a monk? Would you like to kill them with your bare hands, as in a druid?
Yes.
That's my sort of level of, wow, that looks Byzantine.
It is a very, very big and complicated flowchart, yeah. And it's quite funny in some places too. It's got little jokes in there.
It's big, it's unnecessarily complicated. Of course you love it.
Exactly.
It's your inner gamer coming to the fore.
Exactly. So you start here. When I fight, I like to, and you got a choice between use magic to weaken them in ways previously unimaginable.
Ooh.
Or you can choose either stop the fight or end it quickly by helping my friends, or you can hit them where it hurts, physically. And it just goes on from there.
I see, yes.
Well,
it's certainly something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, shall we do some news?
Yes, let's.
Because we've got 3 weeks of news to get through. Let's start with some D&D stuff.
Yes, let's.
Wizard of the Coast's monthly Unearthed Arcana article.
Yes.
Back in December, going back as far as last year.
What?
Was called Sidekicks.
Ooh.
If you've ever wanted an animal, a town guard, or another creature to join you on your adventures, this month's Unearthed Arcana is for you. It gives you a straightforward way to turn a creature into your sidekick and have that companion level up.
That sounds amazing.
It does.
Yeah. So you could have your own pet wizard or pet sorcerer following you around, looking after you with big round eyes, saying, "Oh, I don't know, I'll try and help you out now. Just cast Fireball, Billy. That will solve the problem."
That is exactly what it does, yeah.
That sounds amazing.
It does look pretty cool.
So it's rules in playtest at the moment.
Yes, yeah.
And depending on the feedback, then this may come out as official release.
Well, a lot of this playtest stuff does end up coming out about a year later, doesn't it, in some kind of official product?
Yeah, just
So a while back, Wizard of the Coast had a monster art contest.
Ooh.
It was in October, actually. It's to create art of a brand new monster with a $5,000 prize.
What?
A visit to Wizard of the Coast, and their monster becoming a miniature.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so they announced the winner, which was Will Kalkanis' monster, which I will show you the piece of art there.
Oh, okay.
I'll put a link in the show notes to this, but this looks like a large chained...
It's like sort of a faceless troll. It's got like that very large predatory mouth going on, but it's currently closed. But no eyes, no ears, just like sort of a rigid bone at the front. It's all in a sort of a slaty grey blue.
Yeah.
And it's got, four fingers, talons on one hand in a sort of articulated fashion. A bit skeleton. So, what's that? It's got like chains around its neck.
Yeah, looks like it.
But yeah, basically bipedal and possibly has was that a big Warhammer next to it, do we think?
I'm not sure. I can't quite make it out.
But yeah, some sort of undead troll monster, it looks like. But a blind one, so extra exciting.
So there are also 10 runners up.
Oh, yes.
And there's a slideshow you can watch to see them all. Ooh. And they're all very sort of wacky and weird and dark and ominous looking monsters. All quite interesting.
Fantastic.
That's not all of the D&D news we have, though.
No.
Did you hear about the ships?
The ships do sound like they will be very exciting. Nautical themed campaigns?
Yeah. So on one of their Twitch streams last week, Wizard of the Coast, basically Nathan Stewart and Kate Welsh, announced that the spring 2019 big hardcover release is going to be a nautical themed book.
Exciting.
As of yet, the title and the cover have not yet been decided.
Ooh.
But they did float some kind of amusing fake mock-ups.
Nah.
Let me go through those quickly because they are quite funny.
When Krakens attack.
Okay, so the fake mock-ups that they showed were, here we go, long walk, short plank.
Wait, you're saying that's not a real D&D product coming out? I'm actually saddened now. I'd seen this on the In-World website, and Under the Sea is not happening.
Under the Sea, where it's got this picture of this cute sort of kid's octopus toy, just big googly eyes there.
Look at this little face.
There's Thanks for the Fish. Very Douglas Adamsy, that one.
Indeed, yes.
And the best one,
yes.
Boats and Shit.
Okay, I didn't see that one. That should clue me in.
So the big picture of a kraken underneath a small sailing ship.
I'll be honest, I'm not giving good odds on the sailing ship.
There are a few other kind of minor bits of information that came out of that stream. There's going to be 3 to 4 big releases this year. Plans being for spring, summer and fall.
Okay.
No Spelljammer for certain, despite all the trolling hints and stuff they've been giving throughout the last year. And in 2020, that's next year, there will be a couple of products that touch on cultures that don't usually get exposure in their products.
Ooh.
So we don't know what that might be, but it could be anything.
It could be.
I mean, I assume, are they talking real world cultures? Are they talking fantasy cultures? I don't know what they're talking about there.
I hope they're talking fantasy cultures.
Well, no, but I mean, it could be like they're talking like an African themed setting, maybe.
Right. We've had Chalk come out quite recently, and that was Tomb of Annihilation, and that is very heavily African themed. Certainly all the names are African or pseudo-African.
Okay, maybe not African then, but something else perhaps.
Yeah, South American.
Yeah, maybe.
We got China, India, an Indian themed D&D. That would be I'm interested. Yeah, like Southeast Asia is largely touched. We see a lot of product which is essentially fantasy medieval Europe. Moving further into Russia would be an option, like sort of the Baba Yaga style of things.
Yeah. Okay, we don't need to list every country in the world. But
be that way.
I'm quite interested in the Antarctica themed one. The penguin armies.
They indeed, as they charge for each other. Antarctica!
What else was there? So that ship book will be a spring release. The big fall products will be announced during their sort of now annual big streaming event, which will be from May 17th to 19th this year. Nice. They usually do this over I think it's in LA they do it now. Mm-hmm. And they usually try to get some comedians and celebrities and actors and, high profile people and do this whole weekend of streaming.
Fantastic.
Nathan Stewart got asked about the Eberron PDF experiment.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And his response was, it was great, but we can't talk about it further. Which makes it sound like there's something in the works.
I mean, did he have like a little man on a piano to come around to go, dun, dun, dun? Yeah. And for those listeners who are unfamiliar, that's the Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron, which is this officially playtest material, but gives you a complete guide to the Eberron setting.
And apparently they said they have a team of 25 people.
What? That's a lot of people.
Compared to Paizo, it's less.
Okay.
Paizo have about 50.
Working on a setting at a time.
Well, Paizo produce an awful lot more product.
Paizo do produce an awful lot more.
So that could be it. And also Paizo are producing more than one game now, aren't they? I mean, they're doing Pathfinder, Starfinder.
And Pathfinder 2 as well. So yeah.
And Pathfinder 2, yeah. So,
so these 3 lines that all need a supporting team.
Yeah.
So yeah, setting team.
Yeah, but it's like there's 25 people working on D&D.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. Shall we move on to the next article?
Shall we? Let's do
I
that.
think we shall.
All right then, let's do that.
Anything else exciting?
Savage Worlds Adventure Edition arrived finally.
Sorry.
At least the PDF version of it.
That wasn't, in fact, Russ dying and doing his death rattle. That was the sound of me being excited, but apparently I now sound like I'm dying when I do that.
But it's not dissimilar to the sound of me dying and doing a death rattle.
Can you spot the difference? Answer on a postcard too.
What was I saying? Anyway, Savage Worlds Adventure Edition arrived at the end of last year, which was slightly annoying because it was the number 1 most anticipated game of 2019.
Yes.
So I'm not sure whether that disqualifies it or not.
It does.
If it arrives in 2018. But
Surprise victory.
Rather cheekily, John Carter of Mars did exactly the same thing.
No.
Also, one of the most anticipated games of 2019 snuck in at the end of December and is available in PDF format over on DriveThruRPG.
It's all chaos.
I know.
Cats and dogs living together.
These people have no temporal respect.
What we're saying is role players have no chill. Sad times, man. But yeah, no, it's very exciting. I look forward very much to getting my copy of Savage Worlds Adventure Edition.
I'm sure you can jump on the Kickstarter and get it right now. I would imagine.
The Kickstarter is finished.
Yeah, but on the updates, so they posted it.
Oh, yeah.
For you.
I could get a PDF copy. That's not the same. I want to get my hands on a copy.
Yeah.
Hands. I want that physical copy. I don't like looking at PDFs.
Yeah.
I have seen stuff.
Let's have a look and see what they say about timing for that.
Yeah, I think what I have seen is that they've sent out like draft copies for proof editing.
No, the PDF version is available for retail sale now.
Wow. Okay.
On DriveThruRPG.
Then I should get on that. I completely missed that. I saw that they had a couple of proofs out, but yeah.
There you go.
John Carter of Mars. That's also come out. That will be super exciting. I actually quite liked the film.
I did not.
Oh, fair enough.
I wasn't a fan really of the setting of the character before anyway. I don't really know much about it. So
okay.
I'm not super familiar with
I'd read a bit, but
the Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff.
Well, it's just a bit big and a bit silly.
Yeah.
From the same stable that gave us Tarzan.
Yeah. The Starfinder Beginner Box is now available for pre-order. So the Pathfinder Beginner Box was gorgeous, and the Starfinder one is going to be the equivalent, available from April, but you can pre-order it from today, $39.99. So you get 2 books, you get dice, you get 80 pawns, pre-generated character sheets, cards, and a reusable flip mat.
Ooh.
You can see the sort of cover there.
That's virtually a board game.
Well, yeah, I mean, these beginner boxes pretty much are, aren't they, in a sense, in how they're presented.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, lots of little miniatures and everything.
Yeah. A 96-page Hero's Handbook, a 96-page Game Master's Guide, 7 polyhedral dice, 84 colour pawns, 24 plastic pawn bases, 6 pre-generated character sheets, 6 blank character sheets, 6 player aid cards for quick rules reference, and a reusable double-sided flip mat.
Nice. Well, yeah, and all for $40. So, hitting the stores in April. Exciting times. Starfinder.
Yeah.
I'm almost tempted to get involved myself.
I haven't played Starfinder yet at all.
Okay.
I do kind of want to, but it's finding time to do all these things, isn't it?
So many games, so little time.
Well, that is the problem. There are so many games and there is so little time. I wish someone would do something about that.
we could make less games, or we could make more time.
Make more time, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the making less games is the correct answer. Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4, the starter set PDF is now available. From Cubicle 7. The perfect introduction to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. You get a 48-page adventure book and 10 scenarios and a 64-page guide to Ubersreich.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get that over at Cubicle 7's site, or I believe on Drive-Thru-RPG.
In the grimdark of the Warhammer world, there's only grimdark or grimdark.
Yeah.
As you grimly strive through the darkness.
Hey, do you want to talk about some White Wolf?
Oh, would I ever?
God, that's always such good news.
What's the gift that keeps on giving horses for Christmas, Russ? Tell me more.
So,
Barnhole!
I think it's fair to say that White Wolf last year had a terrible year.
Yes, an annus horribilis to quote Queen Elizabeth. Yeah.
And as a result, they issued apologies for called books. They changed their management. They got absorbed into Paradox, their parent company. They advertised for a brand new brand manager.
Yes.
And now it looks like they're closing down worldofdarkness.com.
Oh, that will be sad times for many loyal fans who remain entirely blameless in this matter. So, yeah, I mean, World of Darkness, that was a big resource site where they had lots of information.
So this message went out to subscribers of their online book reader service. And a chap called Distant Shore sent this, I don't know if it's his actual name, but it was his username, sent the scoop in to me.
Hey, you've got Egg Embry writing for you. I'm no longer surprised. We love you, Egg. You're great.
Yeah, so it sort of said, it began, thank you for being a subscriber to the White Wolf online book reader service, etc. They mentioned that the subscription service will be terminated on Thursday the 20th of December. Obviously, this is going back to last year, along with the worldofdarkness.com website. After 20th of December, you will no longer be able to access the service, and you will receive a full refund for any fees you have paid.
Wow.
Then they say, why is this happening? I think we all know why this is happening, but they say on the 16th of November, White Wolf announced that it's starting a period of restructuring. Then it goes on and describes how they're being integrated into Paradox, temporary management, and all that sort of stuff. Going forward, White Wolf will focus on brand management.
Wow.
Interesting.
Indeed.
That's not the only news.
No, there's more.
So, a little later, information came out that Modiphius are taking over Vampire the Masquerade.
What? Okay, that's my brain shifting gears about proper use of the clutch.
So this is pretty much the same day or the day after. Yes, it's back on the 20th of December.
Yes.
Modiphius Entertainment, who, as you know, did Conan, Star Trek, John Carter and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
They've inked a deal with Paradox to manage the Vampire the Masquerade brand.
Okay then. And why the hell not? Let's do it.
Chris Birch.
Yes.
He's a lovely chap. He's a nice guy. He says, we are thrilled to become the official stewards of this incredible role-playing game. We are committed to providing fans with a truly exceptional range of new products to help them enjoy this rich, exciting world. And they've announced 2 products.
Wow, blimey.
When I say 2 products, what I mean is 4 products.
Absolutely.
Every time I mention a number, double it.
Okay.
So they announced the Fall of London V5 Chronicle for summer 2019.
Okay. Wait, is that summer 4038?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. The Fall of London Chronicle. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. It's a dreadful habit.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
The V5 Player's Guide, summer 2019.
Ooh.
The V5 Starter Set, Christmas 2019.
Okay.
Which is going to be rules to play a self-contained campaign, pre-made characters, handouts, maps, tokens, and dice. I just made it to the end of that sentence.
Russ is either dying or going through puberty backwards. We're not quite sure.
Or both.
Who knows? Why not?
And finally, for summer 2020,
yes,
the Second Inquisition.
Ooh.
Discover the plans, strategies, resources, and technologies of the highly secret organizations charged with investigating and eliminating the vampire threat, including First Light and the Society of St. Leopold. Why do they have to give really, really long sentences to people who have a cough? It's really hard to get through that entire sentence.
Indeed. But you managed to pronounce many of the words correctly, so good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Well, it's not words, it's names. You have trouble with basic words. You've got this weird pronunciation from up north or something.
Pronunciations. Thank you.
And I can't do names.
Indeed. Something like that.
So White Wolf had a corresponding announcement.
Okay.
Just, kind of confirming it. I am delighted to inform you that we have reached an agreement with Modiphius Entertainment to manage, publish and guide the Vampire RPG product line going forward. As of today, Modiphius will take over the creation of new products within the Vampire, the Masquerade 5th edition line, while White Wolf will move into a brand management role to ensure these books and games fit elegantly into the world of darkness.
Okay then.
So there we go. Big changes at White Wolf.
Absolutely. So, are they retaining 5th edition of Vampire?
Yeah. It's still V5.
And like the various things that caused international incidents, are those still remaining in place? I'm just asking. It seems relevant for us.
Well, they did recall those books.
They recalled them. Okay.
Yeah, and they're editing them, and I assume they're going to go out again in an edited.
I see.
I assume is what's going to happen.
Okay, well, Modiphius have a good track record, and I for one am delighted the Vampire Masquerade game won't just die due to terrible, terrible decisions, but will actually have a chance for people to keep on playing and enjoying it.
Yeah,
because it's been over 20 years of like really quality stuff.
Yeah, it's the 90s. So yeah.
Oof, wow. Okay, let's take a moment to feel super old.
Yeah. So what else is there in the news? Games Workshop, earlier this year, they said they were looking to find some more media licenses.
Okay.
They have announced a Warhammer 40,000 animated series called Angels of Death.
Russ, are you telling me there will be cartoon Space Marines?
That is, I think, what I'm telling you, yes.
I'm listening, tell me more.
So they're using Warhammer fan filmmaker Richard Boylan to lead the project.
Nice.
And the series is going to follow a band of Blood Angel Space Marines who become infected with the dreaded Black Rage.
Oh, okay.
There's a teaser trailer.
Yes.
Other than that, not much else has been known, but we'll put a link to the teaser trailer in the show notes. This Richard Boylan chap, he's best known for his fan films, including a 12-part animated adaptation of the Black Library novel Hell's Reach and a live-action short film Guardsman.
Oh.
So this is scheduled for 2019 release. They haven't announced how we'll be able to see it yet.
Yeah.
How or where it will be released.
Okay, but that sounds interesting. A group of Blood Angels going into a vampiric frenzy does sound like it might be amusing.
That sounds quite cool.
Yeah.
I released Presents for Goblins just before Christmas.
Presents for Goblins. Marvellous.
One of my one-page adventures.
Oh, you mentioned that previously.
Yeah.
That sounds really amazing.
So, so I've got 143 patrons now.
What?
Pretty cool. If you
That
head
is
on
amazing.
over to the Patreon at patreon.com/1PA, I believe is what I went with in the end. You can already download 3 one-page adventures, and if you're a patron, you can also get Presents for Goblins.
Is that the number 1PA?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. It's a fun little adventure where it's the winter solstice and some goblins steal the town's gifts and then retreat to a dungeon, and the adventurers have to sneak into the dungeon and recover the gifts, and it involves some nilbogs.
Oh,
which are,
backwards goblins.
Yeah. It involves an airship made of pig hide, which they try to escape on.
What could possibly go
It
wrong?
involves a goblin poison, which, because it's a festive adventure, just has funny effects rather than...
The usual murderous effects.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun little adventure. I really enjoy it. I really ran it. Must have been like last year.
Yes.
The longer version of it, not the one-page adventure of it.
Russ,
It was such fun.
Russ, I just had a crazy idea.
What's that?
It's so crazy.
What?
I don't know. I'm nearly embarrassed to tell you. No, who am I trying to get? I don't get embarrassed anymore. No, what we should do is for our patrons, we should run a special RPG.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, run some games for them. We should do a one-page adventure.
One-page adventures would be super, because they're specifically designed for one session.
I think this is the best plan ever.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Let's make this happen.
All right, we'll do that then.
Let's do it.
What we'll do is we'll make the one-page adventures things that we can run for our patrons.
I think that sounds entirely legit to me.
Yeah. Of course, that would be patrons of the podcast, not patrons of the One Play. See, we're confusing our Patreons now, you see.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you're...
Don't cross the streams!
That works.
So everyone will be listening going, I don't know, what do I back?
Okay, so what you should do ideally is back both, because then you get all the one-page adventures. That's at patreon.com/1PA, and you should totally back our podcast, which is at patreon.com/Morrus, MORRUS. Yeah. And that way, if you do both, then you'll be able to have these games run for you by the amazingness that is Russ and or possibly me.
Yeah.
And see if we run games as well as we talk.
Do we talk well?
No.
No.
Well, if we run games better than we talk, I'm sure that could happen.
Anyway, moving on.
Swiftly on.
There is a lot of news.
Yeah, it's almost like it's been 3 weeks.
It is almost like that. Woo. In fact, not just almost, exactly.
Bang on. Good times.
Right then. D&D translations.
See? That's Spanish for yes. Please, continue.
I know.
Trivial. That's wonderful. Very good. I'm helping.
So these are being handled by Gale Force 9. And they've announced 4 new localizations.
Gale Force 9, they're the card stock people, aren't they? They do
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they do cards, they do miniatures, they do accessories, GM screens, all sorts of things. And also, in this case, they are doing translations.
Fantastic.
Of D&D.
What languages are they hitting?
They are going... Well, they're kind of managing them, and then they're sort of outsourcing them to local companies, obviously. So we've got the Polish localization, being handled by a company called Rebel.
Ooh.
There's the Portuguese one for the Brazilian market by Galapagos Jogos.
That's going to be big.
There's the Russian one by Hobby World.
Okay.
And a Korean one by the TRPG Club.
Wow. Dungeons and Dragons in Korean.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is nice.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Cubicle 7 have announced some more expansions for their Adventures in Middle-earth 5th edition, D&D 5th edition Middle-earth game.
Oh, yes, that sounds amazing.
Well, a new thing. They've got the Breeland Region Guide. A book going into detail about Bree and the surrounding areas.
They're next to Hilltop and just outside the Shire.
Yeah. Contains 3 adventures as well.
Ooh.
And it's content from the Bree source book from the One Ring role-playing game, modified for 5e compatibility.
Nice.
Hardcover coming out first quarter 2019, $34.99.
Reasonable.
What else was there? Steve Jackson Games released an adventure for the Fantasy Trip.
Yeah, that's that really old system that he's been wanting to re-release for absolutely ages, but he had some problems with rights. Now he's got them. So what's he bought out for the Fantasy Trip?
Yeah, well, obviously he kickstarted the Fantasy Trip late last year.
Yes.
And he's brought out the Chaos Triads, which is a 12-page PDF adventure.
Oh, wow.
It's a story that sends the heroes on a mission of mercy into a dangerous labyrinth that brings them to the edge of chaos itself.
Bum, bum, bum. Okay, well, that sounds like that'll be fun.
It does. Yeah. Hasbro has announced a licensing deal for a water park, a resort attraction featuring a themed hotel, restaurants and other entertainment outlooks focused on several Hasbro brands.
Oh, a water park! I thought you were saying a watermark. I'm like, why is this news that Hasbro's got its branding on stuff? No, a water park!
I'm sorry, I have a cold.
I'll allow it this once. Oh, okay, so you can go and, I guess there'll be a lot of splashing around and blue mana flopping everywhere. Oh, fantastic. Well, that sounds like it might be a must-see attraction when eventually it hits, I presume, somewhere in America?
Presumably.
We shall see. Okay.
Mike Mills posted on Twitter.
No. Someone posted on Twitter? Surely not.
It was about RPG art. and he was offering advice to small creators and publishers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He says that Mike Mills, of course, is one of the top dogs over at Wizard of the Coast.
Yes.
He says that if you're getting into self-publishing RPG material in 2019, his advice is your art is the most important part of your product.
I can't argue with him.
Art is the entry point into your work.
Yes.
And then he gives various sort of advice on
Self-advice,
how to co-create with an artist and stuff like that. He also mentions his pet peeve in game art, which is bad interaction. He says if a piece has two things that should interact, make sure the action is framed correctly. Easy test. Let's say you have a warrior jumping off a cliff to plunge down onto a dragon.
Right.
Cover up the dragon. Looking only at the warrior, where does it look like they'll land?
The answer's not on the dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. No, it's entirely reasonable. I mean, there are so many RPGs out there, so many that if you do not have good art...
Yeah. It says, you'll be surprised how many very expensive cover art pieces fail this basic test.
Oh.
You'll find warriors belly flopping 2 meters in front of their foe.
No.
2 enemies locked in mortal combat with opponents seemingly out of the image's frame.
You know what? This sounds to me like there's a lot of natural ones being rolled in combat.
Yeah.
I leap to take down the dragon, look, and leap into attack. Okay, give me an attack roll. 1. Ooh. Unlucky you fall 2 meters in front of the dragon, belly flopping as you trip over your own sandals.
Hey, do you remember Handiwork Games? We mentioned last time we were...
I'm going to be honest and say no.
They were doing the Hellenistica and the Beowulf.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
games.
Yeah, it's another ancient Greek sort of jazz, and Beowulf, that was the duo.
So this was John Hodgson, who used to work for Cubicle 7. Cubicle 7 moved to Ireland. John Hodgson
said no.
So he started up Handiwork Games. He has teamed up also with Onyx Path.
Oh, so yeah. Okay, fantastic. Yeah.
So have you heard of the Scarred Lands setting?
I have not.
It was probably the first big third-party D&D setting back when 3rd edition came out.
Okay, yeah. Back in the 2000s sort of.
Yeah. And it had a set in Birkin, it had a monster Birkin, I think. It was
proper setting.
Yeah, it was big stuff back then. It was produced by, I think it was Sword and Sorcery Studios. I don't think they're around anymore. If they are, they're doing something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, the people who currently own the Scarred Land setting are Onyx Path. So John Hodgson and his company Handiwork Games are going to be producing the Creature Collection.
Ooh.
So the original Creature Collection was the first D&D 3rd edition monster book.
Okay.
When I say the first D&D 3rd edition monster book, I mean that.
Before the monster manual?
Beat the monster manual.
Oh! Pipped. Thanks,
so the Creature Collection came out, obviously, back in whatever it was, 2000, 1999, 2000, whatever it was. And they are making a 5th edition version of that Creature Collection for the Scarred Lands campaign setting.
Nice.
So those of you who are a fan of the Scarred Lands and enjoyed the Creature Collection back in the day, coming back for 5th edition.
Nice. More monsters, always useful.
There was an interesting post over on Reddit.
Oh, yeah.
So someone asked, how do I beat the Matt Mercer Effect?
With a stick. Big stick with nails stuck through.
So what the question essentially was...
people watch Critical Role. I haven't seen this, but I'm going to guess it's something like, people watch Critical Role. Matt Mercer does an amazing GM style. It's really compelling and entertaining. And all his players are like massively into it. They're all voice actors and they do it fantastically well. But when my players come to my game, I am not Matt Mercer. I don't have this sort of thing. And they complain at me that I'm not Matt Mercer. Is that basically the question?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this idea.
Yeah. As he says, too long didn't read. Critical Role has become the prototype for how my players think D&D works. How do I push my own way of doing things without letting them down? So, it was quite a long post. I won't read it. But Matt Mercer, was good enough to come along and reply. And he wrote a fairly long post again in response, which again I won't read because it's long.
Okay.
But he starts off, seeing stuff like this kind of breaks my heart.
Yes.
And basically he goes on to talk about how every table is different. That's just their style of play.
Yeah.
He's good at some things, other people are good at other things.
Yeah.
Also bear in mind they're performing, they're voice actors, they're all this sort of stuff.
We've had Wax Stephen, who does the Warped podcast that if you're familiar with this channel, you're also able to see and download. And he's been very open and honest, which is that there is a certain amount of preparation. There's still a lot of improvisation. That is, I think, key to the art form. But for doing an actual play podcast, essentially, you're sort of playing to the audience.
Yeah, you're performing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, so as he says, need I remind your players that we are a table of professional actors, and I've been DMing for well over 20 years. Yeah. Expecting that immediate level of comfort and interest is unfair and absurd.
Yes.
Also, as he points out, plus our style isn't for everyone. Hell, just scan the comments below to see how many people don't like us. I've played with many different players, ran games on many different styles and focuses, and there is so much fun variety to how a tabletop RPG can be played. You're limiting your chances to enjoy it by trying to play it just like him.
Exactly. Yes.
So I think it's a great answer. It
shows a lot of reflection, and he's really thought about it and is aware of his own success. And
there's another dimension to this, I kind of feel, because it's not just Matt, is it? It's also his amazing players.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally agree.
So when a player is sitting there and going to their DM,
yeah.
Why isn't this game as good as Matt Mercer's? The DM should go, I don't know, maybe you should play better. It's not just the DM.
It's the ensemble.
Yeah.
Like the DM is also a player.
And I think that's very unfair for someone to, point squarely at the DM and say, it's your fault. Well, no, it's your fault as well. We're here as a group, and it's not a fault, that's the wrong word. But the style of game that we have is because of all of us together.
Yes.
Not because of me.
It's a confluence of effects.
Yeah.
It's the same way that, the way I've always explained role-playing games to the average person who's not actually played it or seen it is, it's much like a TV series. The principal cast are the players.
Yeah.
And the GM provides everything else. But the principal cast also need to be putting in the effort to...
Absolutely, yeah. The best GM in the world will have a rubbish game with a bad group, and a bad GM can have a great game with a good group.
I don't think we want to label groups good or bad.
But if
you've got incompatible play styles,
that's what I mean. But a group that's a bad fit,
exactly, yes,
or a group that's not into what's going on,
exactly. Like if you're massively and you've got this story that you want to tell, and your players are like, you know what, we like numbers that get bigger, and we like gold, and we like rollicking through a thing. For some GMs, that's going to be a terrible experience. Me personally, it's not my preferred one, but I could get along with these people, and as long as they're having an amazing time, my work here is done.
Yeah, I'm not nearly as roleplay heavy as a typical streaming show is in my personal taste.
Of course, yeah.
At a table. Yeah. But then again, I don't think it's really the same environment at all.
Oh, no.
You wouldn't expect that.
No. Yeah, absolutely. In many ways, D&D does struggle with some of the storytelling things because you've got this fantastically detailed game underneath, which occasionally sticks its head up. Yeah.
Anyway,
that was very interesting.
I thought it was a lovely reply from him as well.
Yes.
Kickstarter. Not Kickstarters in general. We'll get onto those later. But
Kickstarter,
news about
website.
Kickstarter.
Oh yes.
Is holding a RPG Zine Quest, or Zine Quest.
As in magazine.
Magazine. But it just sounds weird, just zine.
Oh.
Zine. I don't know, whatever. An RPG...
You can call it a zine if you want to.
It sounds better to me.
Yeah.
I understand the logic, magazine, but zine, I don't know. Anyway, an RPG Zine Quest.
You should see his face. It's like I'm making him eat partially boiled sprouts. It's you can call it Zine if you want to. Come on, get on with it.
So February 2019, so next month, is a tribute to RPG zines.
Go on.
So they're putting a spotlight on tabletop RPGs, offering additional exposure to those people who want to start a Kickstarter to create an RPG zine.
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
It does. So they're going to help, with the marketing, give you a bit of a boost in exposure and advertising and stuff like that. There are a few guidelines.
What an incredibly generous offer.
It's definitely an interesting one, yeah.
Yeah.
So Yeah, they've got some guidelines. So you're going to make an RPG zine with Kickstarter in February 2019.
Okay.
It says your zine must contain an RPG or feature RPG-related content.
What seems fair?
Maps, adventures, monsters, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
The zines must be 5.5 times 8.5 inches, A5 or smaller.
Okay, yeah.
They must
That's a nice
feature
size, yeah.
one colour printing.
Ooh.
You can print on coloured paper.
Ooh.
One colour doesn't just mean black.
No.
You can use green, blue or red ink if you think it suits.
Okay, yeah.
And finally, the zine must be unbound, folded, stapled or saddle stitched. So you can't have a hardcover zine or a perfect bound zine, which makes sense.
Well, yeah, that...
I mean, just defining what a zine is.
No, that's I guess maybe in a compilation or something. But yeah, basically it's something much like an actual comic book. Not a graphic novel, but you go to the thing and there's like a comic book.
Yeah.
But like less colourful, I think.
So they've set up a little portal there.
Yeah.
With some examples of zines.
Oh, nice.
Some resources and stuff. And then, buttons to start your project and start your zine. Says, you can't launch your project until February the 1st.
Right.
If you want to participate in this.
No.
But yeah, that's really interesting.
Wow. Yeah, that's... They said why they're doing it, or they're just doing it because reasons.
Let's have a look. See what they say. So they say, emerging in the early 70s, RPG zines were hugely influential in the early days of role-playing fandom.
Yep.
Kickstarter is inviting creators to launch their own RPG-inspired zine products, blah, 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 a celebration of these influential documents.
Right.
There you go.
So, in the absence of any further information, we are forced to assume that the people at Kickstarter are massive geeks.
Well, Tabletop
really
Games
love
is a... What didn't we mention in a previous episode that it had something like 30% of Kickstarter's total...
What? Are RPG related?
No, tabletop games.
Oh, tabletop games. Oh, yeah, like board games and stuff.
Yeah. But, that's big compared to all the, video games and inventions and gadgets and electronic things and clothing and bicycles and all that sort of stuff. That's
yeah. I mean, to be fair, this actually is the sort of thing I would back on a Kickstarter because I will back comics because I used to do a lot of Kickstarters. Sorry if I digress slightly. I did a lot of Kickstarters and then somebody was complaining about how they never got any value.
Yeah.
And being the contrary and obstructionate and aggro man that I am, I thought, I thought all my stuff had gone very well. So I went and did some science and looked at all the facts and figures, and I backed a lot of RPGs on Kickstarter, not being great value for me. A couple of computer games, much better value for me, but comics and this sort of print media has actually been my absolute best value for money because it's been cheaper.
Yeah.
And I've gone back and read them again and again. So,
Excellent.
yeah. So, RPG zines, that could be really amazing.
So, Darwin Bromley.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He was the founder of Mayfair Games. Passed away on New Year's Day.
Oh.
So he started with his game Empire Builder in 1980. He published the Roll Aids line of RPG products, the DC Heroes RPG.
Okay.
He produced a bunch of unlicensed D&D supplements back in the 90s.
Okay.
TSR sued him,
Oh.
but because he was a lawyer, he beat them. And continued doing it. Because he knew exactly what he was doing, presumably, and knew exactly how to produce a compatible product without infringing.
Oh, dear me. Okay, yeah.
He's Mayfair Games is obviously sort of a big sort of board games company.
Yeah.
He died at the age of 68.
Oh, that's very young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously our sympathies go out to his family, yeah. Influential man.
Yeah, exactly. Steve Jackson Games has announced they're launching their own convention.
Oh, okay.
It will take place in Austin, Texas.
I'm listening. April
6th to the 7th. And it's called... How would you pronounce that word?
Fnord. Fnordcon.
Fnordcon.
Fnord. Like a fjord, but Fnordia.
Yes. The venue hasn't yet been announced, although apparently one has been secured, and the full guest list has not as yet been announced either. Okay. Right. So, Starfinder Critical Hit deck
Oh, yes, yes.
came out a few weeks ago, but managed to get hold of some pictures of some of the cards.
Ooh.
Again,
yes,
I've not really played Starfinder, so I wasn't really sure exactly how the cards would resemble the Pathfinder versions.
Yeah.
Which has sort of different things for slashing, bludgeoning, and piercing, and magical damage.
Yeah, well, they've clearly got the same sort of like breakdown by damage type there, don't they?
Yeah, so we've got Surprise Opening, Crit Effect. The target provokes attacks of opportunity from all threatening opponents.
Ooh, nasty.
Or Shock and Awe, bonus effect. The target is staggered for 1 round.
Amazing.
Yeah, so Starfinder Critical Hit deck is now out there.
Nice blue and red theme.
So Michael Stackpole.
Yes, yes.
So he has resigned from Gamma, and we have talked about Gamma more than once on this podcast.
The Game Manufacturers Association.
Yes, because not unlike White Wolf, it's had a bad year.
Well, indeed.
Not as bad as White Wolf's year, to be fair, but
they didn't
still not a good year.
They didn't provoke an international incident.
They didn't.
Yeah, but it's a bit like Trump and Brexit, when you've got this sort of situation, and the only thing that's stopping you from being the number one most embarrassing thing in the role-playing game industry is someone else doing something so terribly, terribly wrong. You have to ask what's going on.
So he wrote to the Gamma board,
Yes.
but it was like an open letter. He posted it publicly.
It was a lengthy open letter.
It's a long letter. I've got it here, and I'm not going to obviously read it out. But he talks about his history, how he started working at Flying Buffalo back in the 70s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How he's been with the Gamma board for God goodness knows how many years.
Yeah.
He's tendered his resignation.
I thought you said I was one, so probably common words.
Resignation.
Yeah.
Resignation. He says, I've not reached this decision based on any political divide within the board. I've come to it because the board is broken.
Strong words.
So he talks a bit about how it took the board 45 minutes to award a simple resolution to empower a committee to hire a lawyer.
That's harsh, but it's a committee, man. They take a long time.
He talks about the organisation's membership indicating its will, and the board commissioning a poll to second guess the membership's will.
And then hiring a lawyer to tell them how they could ignore the results of the poll. Yeah, that bit was unfortunate.
And of course, the sort of harassment issue that took place last year when...
Is that something we can comment on?
Well,
like
we have.
Well, we have. But we commented that a Gamma director was it censored?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just read what Michael Stackpole said.
Okay, you do that.
Then we're not saying anything, are we? He says, the board is broken when it, having previously enjoyed robust and detailed discussions about Gamma harassment policies, down to the minutiae of the structuring of an investigative team to be in place at our shows, chooses only to censure an officer who physically assaulted a female security guard. And finally, he brings up the board was talking behind his back in an email, but they accidentally CC'd him in on the chain.
Oh dear. How very awkward.
Which I suspect was the straw that broke the camel's back, as it were.
Yeah, like people were talking smack about me and then copied me in on the email.
Yeah. There was one.
I keep seeing a name whiz past. I'm sort of really interested in that.
What was that?
Down a bit more. It says Chupacabra on it.
Oh, right, yeah. So, you know, every week Mike Miner puts epic monster or mythological feature up.
Oh, okay.
So today's one, just went up this morning,
okay,
was the Chupacabra.
And the Chupacabra, the goat sucker.
Yeah, exactly. The eater of goats and terror in the night.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. He's created it as a large CR13 creature.
Oh, tanky.
Yeah. Okay. It's larger than I would have gone for, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, it eats goats.
Yeah.
Or sucks them or whatever. That's still, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about people who suck goats.
They are chupacabras. That's pretty much in the name, man.
Yeah. I do enjoy that column. So there was one other thing. There was the whole Bill Webb at GaryCon thing. I haven't got it in front of me, so I'm just going to go off my memory.
Yeah.
So GaryCon is an OSR convention.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, named after Gary Gygax.
Yeah.
And run, I'm fairly sure, by one of his sons. I think by Luke Gygax.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. I've never been
No.
But I know that they all go there, and you get quite a big OSR crowd there.
Yeah.
So Bill Webb of Frogog Games.
Yeah.
There was some trouble with him sexually harassing someone at PaizoCon last year.
Yeah.
Or was it the year before?
Yeah.
I can't remember which. I'm totally going off memory here. It's not in front of me. So he also admitted to it.
Yeah.
And apologised. So, it's not...
That's something, I
This
suppose.
isn't hearsay. This is a thing that definitely happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then GaryCon invited him as a guest of honour.
Okay.
And of course, some people kicked up a stink about that.
Yeah.
Understandably so.
Yeah.
Why are you inviting an admitted
harasser
to be the guest of honour at this convention?
Yes.
I now don't feel safe going to it. And also,
it does seem to be sending a message. Unintentional, I hope, but yeah.
So Bill Webb stepped down.
Okay.
He sort of said, right, I'm going to, in the light of this, I'm not going to attend GaryCon as a guest of honour.
Okay. His actions have had consequences.
Notably, GaryCon didn't remove him.
No, he volunteered to.
And then after that, GaryCon posted an announcement saying Bill Webb has stepped down, so all good. And, it's late last year, I think. This was late December, I think this was all happening. There was a whole petition to boycott GaryCon and all sorts of stuff going on.
Right.
It was, it probably blew up for about 2 or 3 weeks. Wow. I mean, it's still going on a little bit.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, people came up in arms on both sides.
Of course, yeah.
As always happens with these things.
Yes. I can see that there would be people who have a point of view about it.
Yeah. And so, that was that. Anyway, I think that is the news for the day. I think we finally finished the news.
Huzzah!
That did take quite a while.
Russ, we should totally do another sketch. Unfortunately, we've had the competition to come to our aid.
Oh, cool. We had a new entry.
A new entry. Even better than that, we've had 2 new entries.
Wow.
I know. Both are from Richard Kirk. Richard, thank you so very much for sending us in these entries. For those of you who haven't been paying attention, yes, I'm talking about you there. Yes, you. Yes. Stop what you're doing there. Pay attention.
Him with the glasses.
Oh, yes.
Oh, don't like him.
Shifty. Yeah. Shifty eyes.
Yeah. Sitting in the chair. Him.
Oh.
Yeah. You there, sitting in the chair with the glasses.
Yeah. Pay attention. This is important. If you'd like us to read, and by read I mean perform, your sketch on our podcast, then send it to Morrus, that's MORRUS, podcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
Fantastic. I've even gotten the email address right, which I think you'll find as a podcast first. Nice. Then, obviously, the rules are you have to have no more than 2 people. We can probably get up to 3 if we can, but there's only a limited number of silly voices that myself and Russ are capable of. And not too long either. We're looking for about one side of A4 in a reasonable type, and you can probably get away with less. Aha! A gnarled, weary old man in dirty robes sat alone at a table. Classic NPC quest giver. I'll just take a seat here, methinks.
What did you just call me?
What?
Did you just call me gnarled and weary?
That doesn't matter. I'm not here to make friends. I just want your quest.
These robes aren't dirty.
Who cares? Quest, please.
You sat in my wife's seat, you know.
She needs rescuing?
Rescuing?
Yes, your wife. Kidnapped by mysterious forces who'll turn out to be some demonic cult, I suppose. By the gods, I love murdering demonic cultists.
Oh, she's just ordering some food at the bar.
Oh.
She'll be back in a minute.
So, you don't have a quest for me?
No.
Not even a quick cultist to murder?
Absolutely not. Some of my best friends are cultists.
I see.
Now, can you clear off? My wife is coming back.
But I need some sort of a quest. How else will I know what to do next?
All right, you got me. I do have a quest for you.
You do?
Yes, a quest only the most worthy adventurer could complete.
Oh, great.
Far, far beyond the northern mountains.
Yes?
In the farthest reaches of the wildlands is a hidden city. In the centre of this hidden city is a glass castle 1,000 miles tall, guarded by invisible warriors.
Invisible?
You must defeat these invisible warriors in sacred combat and steal the golden scepter of...
You're making this up to get rid of me, aren't you?
How can you tell?
Thank you for your time.
Bloody adventurers. Thank you so much to Richard Kirk for sending that one in. And as we said earlier, please do send in your sketches to morruspodcast@gmail.com and we will attempt to perform them on air for you. I can't promise we'll be good, but we'll give it a go.
Absolutely, and what more can you ask for?
Yeah.
Your work performed here.
Hey, do you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time to play our favourite game in all the world.
Wait, Twilight Imperium 4th edition?
No.
Oh. oh, you mean guess the name of the guess what the Kickstarter's about from just the name alone?
Yes! Yes.
Even better.
The game where I give you the name of the Kickstarter and you try and guess what it is from just the name, and then I give you a score based on a highly accurate, highly scientific and highly detailed scoring system.
Does this mean I should stop bringing my copy of Twilight Imperium over?
Yes.
Oh.
I've told you.
Okay.
Sir Peter of Coffee, are you ready for your first Kickstarter?
That means yes.
I see. Okay then. So, first one.
Yes?
We will go with The Streets of Avalon.
Ooh. Well, obviously Avalon is King Arthur's court. No, that was Camelot. So what's Avalon?
Avalon...
Avalon...
Didn't Avalon refer to Britain or something?
No, I don't think so. Camelot, Avalon, Lady of Avalon? No, but it's definitely Arthurian related. Here I am not knowing what Avalon is. Shocking. Okay, so...
A legendary island featured in the Arthurian legend. There we go.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, that aside.
We digress. Okay, so we've got... It's definitely going to be, I think... So Arthurian legend... but it's in the streets of, which is a more American twist, which implies some sort of, looking for the right word here, sort of a grittier, more steampunk sort of take on it. So we've got a mix of, so it sounds to me like a, probably some sort of storytelling RPG combining strong Arthurian themes, but a more modern setting.
Right, so storytelling RPG, you get minus 10 points for that.
Okay.
Arthurian themes, you get minus 20 points for that, so you get minus 30.
Right.
What did you say after that?
And it's more modern and...
Modern, so another minus 20 points for that, so you're now at minus 50.
Okay, and it was sort of steampunk.
And another 100 points off for that. So minus 150 points.
Oh, okay. Marvellous.
It's none of those things.
Okay. So let's see if the name's any good whatsoever.
So it's a mega city called Avalon for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition.
Okay.
It's a massive fantasy city which holds adventure, intrigue and darkness. It's a gazetteer of the city covering the people who live there, areas of the huge city, economy, festivals, religions, guilds, noble, and so on.
Right.
GMing advice on how to make the city of Avalon come to life. A number of different adventure types. Lots and lots of flavour, art, letters, quotes and sidebars. It's a 110 to 130 page book, black and white interior art.
And it's called On the Streets of Avalon.
And it's called On the Street. No, just
called
The Streets of Avalon. Yes.
Okay. Is that a previous RPG property of which I'm unaware?
No.
Okay, so they just taken the name Avalon and decided to remove it from any Arthurian context, even though that's basically what the word. Okay, no, that's fine. I'm sure that sounds very interesting.
You know, names do get reused.
They do, but I don't have to like it. And names are important. Names are important, Russ.
Okay. So it's minus 150 points.
Marvellous.
Next.
Yes.
Dragon Scales.
Go on.
That's what it's called. Dragon Scales.
There's not a lot to go on there. So Dragon Scales. My first instinct is to think it might be like a stuff Kickstarter rather than a setting or anything like that. Although, like, I guess, but you can buy like dragon scale looking stuff elsewhere. So, Dragon Scales. Yeah, like a stuff Kickstarter, so you can buy something that looks like dragon scales for your home or garden or whatever. I don't know.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
That's minus another 100 points.
Okay.
You're now at minus 250 points.
Okay.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
But that's
This
okay.
could be another black hole this week.
No, I'm plus 500 because obviously if I've got 43% out of 1,000, then I'm doing really well.
Well, that depends on whether or not Darryl actually includes that one, given the fact that it finished. In which case, that comment won't make any sense whatsoever because it's been cut out of the podcast.
Have you no respect for the structure of reality?
Okay, so this one is...
Yes.
It's a rune-based game of chance for use in any role-playing game system. You play with 6 handmade runes that are cast across your favourite tavern table. You place your wager. The runes are cast and recast until one remains face up or all blank. They look like that. You can see they're kind of like round tokens with runes on them.
Oh. So where does the scale come from?
That's just the name of the game. The game's called... It's a...
Sure. So we've got sort of fantasy Yahtzee. Okay.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
But I suppose fantasy Yahtzee wouldn't do nearly as well as a Kickstarter name. Quite Dragon Scales, there are people who buy anything because it says Dragon.
Exactly.
Marvellous.
Yeah.
Marvellous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then. Ooh, I like the sound of this one. Gauntlets and Gaslight.
And whatever you did before no longer applies. Very well. Gauntlets and Gaslight. Ooh, yes. That is really interesting. So the Gaslight makes me immediately think a Victoriana setting, and Gauntlets very much implies to me some sort of mailed fist doohickey. So and obviously if it's Gaslight, it would be at night. So a pseudo-Victorian medieval horror mix. Can't even think what that would be in. Maybe and why not? It's a 5th ed supplement as well for all your pseudo-Victorian medieval night horror needs. Got Gauntlets and Gaslights have you covered.
So you were racing towards the cliff edge, but you managed to pull back just at the last minute. Just clinging on to the cliff edge with one hand, but you have not gone over the edge.
Yay!
You have scored 4 points out of 10 there.
Yay!
Not too bad at all. So how did you phrase it? Pseudo-Victorian medieval horror.
Yeah.
Okay, they call it Gothic horror steampunk, which I think is saying much the same thing. Yeah?
Did I say steampunk? I didn't say steampunk.
Oh, in that case, you only get 3 points then.
Okay.
You just talked yourself out of a point.
What can I say? I'm an honest man. Right.
It is for 5th edition.
Yes.
And for Pathfinder.
Yes.
It's a source book.
Yes.
Bestiary, rules, and other resources.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Actually, that's quite interesting. Pardon me. This project provides a wealth of Gothic horror steampunk, aka fleshpunk rules. 3 books.
Okay, yeah.
So there's 3 books. The first one is called Gauntlets and Gaslight, which has weapons, armours, items, machinery, tools, vehicles, monsters, characters, spells, classes, factions, and more.
Okay.
Then there's the Incarnate of Aquilae Bestiary. Lots of golem elemental constructs, each the physical embodiment of an abstract concept.
Incarnate of Aquilae.
Yeah. And finally, we have Artifacts and Artifice Incarnate, which is dozens of mad scientist-style steampunk artifacts.
Intriguing. Right. Well, that sounds like that would be very interesting.
That looks fun, yeah.
Yeah.
You wanted atmospheric? I think that one's atmospheric.
I wanted evocative, but I'll take atmospheric. Absolutely.
Okay. One more.
Very well then.
So you were at minus 250. You just scored 3 points back. So you're now at minus 247. This is a very, very fair scoring system. With your last one, can you at least get us back to 0?
So we're omitting the one that I did well on because you chose the column from last week. Okay. That seems fair. Let's do it. Go on.
Okay. Chronicle cards. I think you'll get this one.
Well, I'm hoping it's cards, because otherwise that would be very
It's very
embarrassing.
misleading otherwise.
I would be disappointed if it was something other than cards. Chronicle cards, so it sounds like a sort of a deck of cards that will let you tell a story in some fashion. The use of the word chronicle does make me think vampire, but I think that might be a bit of a red herring. So decks of cards that have sort of random things that you can piece together, like beginning, middle, and ends. Maybe throw in some twists in there, plot points and reveals, locations, all that sort of jazz.
Really good. I'm going to give you 246 points for that.
Fantastic.
Which brings you to a final total of -1, which is unfortunate.
So it's my 43%.
so Chronicle cards, they're a universal
Yes.
thing. So for any fantasy RPG, they enable you to create new characters, creatures, events, or items in seconds.
Yes. Oh, that sounds good. So was that 5th edition, was it? Or
Generic, any fantasy RPG system.
Nice. Any generic. Okay.
That's them done.
So I think what we should do next week is we should swap ends, and I should ask you about Kickstarter.
Yours. There's one other thing I wanted to mention.
Oh, yes.
Quickstarters.
Oh, yes.
Our good friend Egg Embry, who writes the Kickstarter column for us, he took over from Angus last year.
Egg Embry is anything that man can't do.
So he's written an article about quickstarting. So quickstarting's become more popular over the last year or two. And essentially,
What is it?
It's like a tiny Quickstarter. So you use Kickstarter, or
Like, when you say tiny, do you mean it's like got low financial goals, or what are you trying to say?
it's got both low goals and a short funding period.
Oh, how short?
It can vary. So typically you might be talking a week, maybe 2 weeks, but that starts to get a bit longer then.
Oh,
but
really?
You're talking little micro Kickstarters.
Okay, so 7 to 14 days, potentially.
Yeah.
In order to raise projects, but for a lower goal.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I remember you said many times you wish you could only do the first and last week of the Kickstarter, because that's when the money comes in.
Yeah. So he kind of listed a few sort of that are out at the moment. Phil Reed from Steve Jackson Games and Zach Glazer from Frog God Games. Also John Ford of RoleplayingTips.com and also Jim Pinto from Postworld Games. All currently, at this moment, running Quickstarters.
Nice.
For example, John Ford's one is the Demon Plague 5e campaign.
Ooh.
And it's a 14-day Kickstarter.
Wow.
And it's done really well. So far, it's got 1,002 backers on it. He's made 42,000 Canadian dollars.
Crikey.
Phil Reed has done some fantasy trip adventures for Steve Jackson Games.
Oh, okay.
This is a 12-day one. He's got 800 backers on the thing so far.
Wow.
Zach Glazer did an adventure for called Menace in Ravenreach.
Nice.
By Frog God Games. This is a 10-day one. It's got 130 backers. That one's being run on Indiegogo.
Right. Yeah.
Rather than Kickstarter itself.
Has that made its goal, or?
Yeah, it's made its goal.
Yeah.
And finally, Jim Pinto's Blood Wraith, a fantasy world of survival and torment, a 15-day one, has got 381 backers so far.
Ooh.
So all of these tend to be around 2 weeks here, rather than the 1 week.
Yeah, but
I have seen them as short as 1 week.
Okay.
So I just think it's quite interesting. These things are becoming more and more common.
Yeah, so they're doing like 4 figures or so, but just for the micro projects.
Yeah.
Maybe 30.
So you're not spending an entire month marketing this Kickstarter, because it does take an awful lot of time and a lot of work to do that full time for a month.
Yeah, a lot of responses need writing. You need to be really in touch with your backers.
So what people are thinking of trying is, rather than a couple of big Kickstarters a year, do sequential little ones.
Oh, okay.
And see if you can sort of make that work instead.
More modest ambitions, but a quicker timescale for turnaround.
Yeah.
And the focus is not so much on stretch goals, which has been something of an Achilles heel for some of the bigger Kickstarters, because they've just tried to keep on stretching, but in this case they're just like focusing. Yeah. So these are more focused Kickstarters.
Laser-like focus, yeah.
Oh, yes, I can see the direction.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully everyone should be able to get their work done quicker and get your product to you sooner.
Well, it's interesting that, generally speaking, you get a Kickstarter that's normally like 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
If you go and make it 60 days or so, statistically, just looking at the stats, they don't really do any better.
Oh, really? You get 60-day Kickstarters?
You can get as long as you want.
I had no idea.
Kickstarter just asks you when you want it to end.
Oh.
I think maybe they do have a maximum on there, so a year, but
I just assumed it was 30 days to get out.
No, you choose the start and end date of it. Oh. The conventional wisdom is sort of, 1 month.
Yeah.
People are experimenting with different time periods to see what effect that has.
Right. Today I have learned a new thing.
Yeah. It's interesting because in a week you've got less time to get the word out.
That's true. But then on the other hand, you should be pre-trailing your Kickstarter for quite some time.
That's also true,
yeah. And all the people who are keen sign up in a week. And all the people who are less keen miss out, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Good to know.
Anyway, I think that's probably it.
Yeah, that sounds very exciting. Well, I think we should return and revisit Quickstarters at some point later in the year, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. We've got a lot planned for this year coming up.
We've got Sarah Newton coming on soon, probably.
Oh, Mindjammer Lady.
Yeah,
very
February
nice.
18th, I think she said.
Ooh, well, fingers crossed.
She's fun. I like Sarah a lot.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of interesting and exciting entertainment planned for this year, and maybe we can do some more in-depth research into the game industry. If you'd like to hear about something on this Kickstarter, obviously RPG related, please write to us at morruspodcast@gmail.com and we'll give it a look over and see if we can do it.
Yeah. The other thing we want to mention is, of course, our Patreon.
Oh, yes, the Patreon.
We have 16 wonderful backers.
You guys are amazing.
Yes, you are absolutely fantastic. You are the best looking people I've ever seen in my entire life.
And he's not just saying that.
You all smell really good too.
He's just saying that, I hope. But yeah, what it is we do need funding to keep the podcast going. It does help with paying Daryl, our amazing and skillful editor, and also it allows us to experiment with things like getting video equipment to do a recording. Because I think that's on the cards.
Because what we do want to start doing for the Patreons is doing occasional videoed sessions.
Yes.
Which we have never done before.
No.
We don't know whether it will work or not, but we're certainly willing to try it and see if people like it.
New ground. What could possibly go wrong?
The other thing is, as Peter mentioned earlier in the podcast, is we want to connect up the Patreon to Discord.
Yes.
And perhaps run some online games for our patron.
I'd be super excited to do that.
Possibly our one-page adventures or something like that.
I think that's a brilliant plan.
Or maybe, I could use that also to do some demos of some of the stuff that I've...
more inside the creative genius that is yourself. That sounds amazing. Yeah. We would definitely like. So if there's anything, in fact, that you'd like to see or hear, then please do let us know.
Yeah. So please head over to patreon.com/Morrus.
That's MORRUS.
Yep. And please do sort of back us on the Patreon because every dollar helps.
Absolutely.
And we really, really want to do some really awesome stuff this year.
We're not too proud to beg for your money. Please help us. You don't have to. But even just a cup of coffee, cost of a cup of coffee a month would be a fantastic boon.
It would be lovely.
Yeah. Anyway, but it doesn't matter, even if you're not able at this time to help us out. We do appreciate that January is a hard month for many people.
But if you can't do that, instead, head on over to iTunes and give us a 5-star review. That's an amazing thing you can do.
Does it have to be a 5-star review?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because of the weird way iTunes algorithms work.
Oh, okay.
Basically, only 5-star reviews are going to help you.
So it's basically just like Netflix, where it's either thumbs up is 5-star and anything else is, as far as iTunes is concerned, a thumbs down.
Yes.
Well, that'd be cool.
And basically, the way iTunes calculates its sort of notable charts and all that sort of stuff is based on how many 5-star reviews you've got.
Absolutely. So, if you loved our podcast, tell your friends, get them all listening. And if you hated it, tell no one. Are we? I think we're pretty much wrapped up for today.
Yeah, I think we are.
So it'll be a goodbye from me, Peter Coffey, the Southampton Village Role Players.
And it's goodbye from me, Russ.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you next week.
Well, that was quite simply the worst podcast I have ever had the misfortune to listen to.
Somebody will need to be punished, but I can't decide whether to use the thumbscrews on them, on their disgusting hands, or if I should simply throw one of them in the moat.